wonder how many of you have noticed the change in the type of dispatchers that we have now. Used to be in the good old days, dispatcher was generally a guy that had driven for a living and had come off the road for one reason or another or whatever, but he was the dispatcher and he had experience in driving, and he was the one that doled out the loads to you, but also he was kind of the support group in the office. He understood where you were coming from. He'd help you change an appointment time or something like that, or find out directions or find out road conditions for you, or that type of thing. He was the driver's support team, basically. Nowadays, holy Jesus Christmas, have we ever got a new style dispatcher these days? The modern dispatcher doesn't seem to know a steering wheel from a Ferris wheel from a fifth wheel. It's generally some college kid that can barely get his Honda Civic to work without crashing it. Oh, he's probably got a good phone manner, and I'm sure he's good with computers, but he has absolutely no idea what we go through in a day. None of them seem to own a map. Or if they do own a map, they can't understand why you're not at your destination yet, because it's only 4 inches on the map. And they're really good at telling you everything you're doing wrong, like you don't have time for fuel, or you don't have time to eat, or you don't have time to sleep. They're really just focused on satisfying the boss and filling in the blanks in the software program on the computer. Because they haven't driven, I suppose, they just don't get the fact that you don't make as good a time when the roads are icy, or you're stuck in a traffic jam going through Chicago in rush hour or something like that. They still don't understand why that might change or affect the delivery time of the load. The really scary ones are the ones that have been doing it a few years and actually think they're good at it. There's nothing I enjoy more after 40 years on the road is being told how to do my job by some 29-year-old kid that has no idea what he's talking about. They want to bug you on the phone all day and find out what you're doing and where you're going and when you'll be there, yet you're not supposed to be talking on the phone because that's distracted driving. So they'll send you all these cryptic messages on this e-log thing that really you have to pull over to type on. That interferes with your day, and basically half the time it's just stupid questions anyway. They're just cutting into your productivity. So I just don't get the new format. The dispatcher will say to you, "Well, you never answered your phone," and I'm thinking, that's because I knew that you had absolutely nothing useful to contribute here that would help me with my job today. So I thought I'd save my talking to the dumbass till the end of the day. And these are the guys that after 5 o'clock, you just can't get a hold of them. And on weekends, forget it. They may have screwed up the customs paperwork, but on the weekends, are they going to come around and fix it for you? It amazes me that if these new style dispatchers are the front line of communication between the driver and the trucking company, that the trucking company can't see why there's a driver turnover and drivers are dropping out of their fleets like flies. Because if this is the best you can manage to talk to your drivers, it's just not cutting it, buddy. Now, I'm not saying that some of these guys aren't good dispatchers just because they haven't driven a truck for a living. Every once in a while, you'll run across a guy that's really good at it, and he has never driven a truck. But these guys are few and far between. And I find the majority of them just aren't even worth talking to. Just get your load, deliver your load, and keep your communication level with them at a bare minimum, because they're just no help to you at all other than maybe running to the boss and squealing if there's a problem. But they can't solve the problem you've got. They got to go to someone else to find out the answer to your question. I've noticed too these days, if you go to interview with a new company and they introduce you to the dispatch team, they'll actually point out to you if they have a dispatcher that's driven a truck before. So the trucking companies know this is an issue. They just really don't want to get into that because they really don't want to have to pay a dispatcher too much. And a college kid is way cheaper annually than an ex-truck driver. Bottom line, at the end of the day, trucking companies, if you want to impress us, get dispatchers that know what the hell they're doing, and get dispatchers that have driven a truck before. It's a big help.